Hey, I'm Mitchell Davis, a Laravel developer.
You're more than that, mate. I'm Gavin Ty, co-founder of Six Sides.
And you do sales and
Kind of.
sometimes marketing.
Yep. Kind of. Bit of here and there. Yep.
And we're building sixsides.co. It's an events platform that helps you build a stronger community through events. And this is our B2B SaaS journey. How you going, mate?
Good, mate. Episode 9. So that's 9 weeks. We've been decided to document the journey, and it's been really interesting to go back and listen to some of these episodes. I listened to episode 2, I think, the other day again, um, and where although this is not a side hustle, but we have our main businesses to focus on. Um, we are we are moving along. There's a lot of stuff happening week to week basis on a week to week basis, it's, and especially since we're not doing this full time, right? So it's
Yeah.
been quite interesting. And look, to get the to bring it straight up and the elephant in the room for those of you that are listening, this isn't a YouTube live session. I bit off more than I could chew. In our last episode, I suggested we do a YouTube live session as the next episode. Turns out our Riverside account is not set up for that, and we need to do a bit of a workaround to get that happening, which we will. But yeah, thanks for some of the people who have reached out and said, "Hey, when's that live session?" And yeah, it's a work in progress. So
It's on the back burner for now. Yeah, it was a little too difficult, and we had some scheduling changes as well that happened. We were meant to record on Thursday. This episode's actually late. So normally it would have been released 2 hours ago now. So we're just really behind the curve this week because we had a public holiday on Friday. I couldn't record on Thursday, and just there's a lot going on. So
yeah,
anyway, we're here. We'll get this episode out, and we'll revisit the live stream at some point in the future. But don't hold us to it. And Gavin's got to stop making stuff up right at the end of the episode and committing us to things.
I'll
So
never stop. Mate, it's not the first time I've got myself into a situation by volunteering, then getting myself into something way above my depth. I remember once when I was younger, there was a music band called Sonic Animation. If that's a really old band, right? But it had
okay,
these two puppets that they used to get on stage, and I saw them one Thursday night before Splendor in the Grass, which is a big music festival in Byron Bay. And I jokingly said to the fan club or the one of the band members, "Hey, if you ever need someone to dance at Sonic Animation in the puppet suit, just let me know." And I
oh
threw it
no,
out there. I did not think it was going to come out. Anyway, lo and behold, on the Saturday morning, they said, "Hey, do you want to do that tomorrow night?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, awesome." It was the most painful thing I've ever done in my life. Dancing on the second day of a festival, I was so hot in this machine, like a puppet suit that blew up. It was like a sauna. I almost passed out, and that was
yeah.
unbelievably painful. And then they were like, "How was that?" And I was like, "Thank God that's over." And I was like, "You got to go back out for a encore." It was horrendous. Yeah, it was
So you
terrible.
were dancing the whole time during
Yep,
the
for
whole.
about
Oh
20
my
minutes in a
god!
puppet suit. Yeah, it was terrible. So
Wow,
yeah, side note, this is kind of like that. Yeah.
a little bit like that. Yeah. Well, I did want to call out early on in the episode because I always leave it way too late. If you are listening and you are enjoying what we're doing, we would love if you would review it, if you would share it, if you'd give it the 5 stars, get it out to your friends, your network, whatever, anyone that you think might be interested in what two Australian founders are doing with a fairly new business, and hopefully you're liking what we're doing. So yeah, that would be great. We would really appreciate that.
Yeah.
Um, all
And
right.
any
Well,
new feedback as well. Like if you have anything you want us to talk about, maybe you're having some challenges or something around product development, which is what your specialty is, Mitch, or
yep,
around sales and marketing. Happy
yep,
to answer those specifically on the call.
yeah,
Although we're new to the startup world, like this particular venture,
yeah,
I've been in B2B startups since 2015, and you've been doing your stuff, Mitch,
yeah.
for last
I've
10
been
years plus.
around.
So we're quite experienced and we're happy to share and help any way we can if anyone has any questions. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's
there'll
a
be
standing offer. Yeah.
Yeah, there'll be like contact info in the show notes. So I wanted to get out in front and give you an update, which you haven't heard yet from me, Gavin. The .com. We got an email back from Namecheap over the weekend saying that they basically had no contact from the current owner. They
Yeah.
never responded, and so they decided to refund our money. So it's hit
Ah,
the account. Yeah, so we got our money back, but the conversion rate meant that we lost like $200 or something like that. So a bit of an extra stab with the knife there. But
oh, that's why you were sad yesterday. Like,
I got on the call crying, but I wouldn't tell you why. No,
yeah,
no.
yeah. Oh no.
But what I think we should do. So we you can go back and listen to the episode 7, the $5,000 letter, if you want to kind of hear how this came about. But what we did was we went with Namecheap because they had it listed at something like $4,800 or something like that. But then on some of the other sites like GoDaddy, they didn't have a price, but they just had it as like you can use our agent that you hire for $150 or something like that
That you
to.
didn't want to spend the money on.
I
You
didn't want to do
spent
it. Yeah, it turns out
$100.
we ended up losing that much in fees anyway. So maybe what we should do is try and go through a broker, an agent like
You
that.
think? That's what I said in the first instance.
That is what you said,
Yeah.
yeah. But look,
But
anyway,
you live and learn. It is what it is. Yeah.
that's right. So I think we should try that because I don't want to give up on this. But I was saying to Nicole when I found out about this, like the fact that they just didn't respond at all, that's a bad sign. Like not
Yeah.
even saying no, they might be they might be dead. Who knows? Like we don't know. This could be a not solvable problem for a long time.
Yeah. I wonder if we could get a cheaper letter. Like, I wonder if we could go .con. That probably won't have an impact, right?
Yeah,
.com,
yeah,
dot, dot
that's a
.cod.
good idea.
Yeah, like we
Yeah,
could
we should
plan
we
and
should
use
do
them.
that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, we should definitely do that. That's a great idea. I
yeah,
like that.
yeah, yeah. I know it's not
Um, anyway, so it's a bit of an evolving
drama.
story.
It's saga.
It is a saga, the .com saga, and hopefully it has a good resolution, a good ending. But it is a bit embarrassing,
Why?
kind of well, it's not our fault, but we talked about it as though it was going to happen, and then it hasn't. So
Yeah,
it's a bit of a bummer. It would have been nice if it was just an instant, like, yep, okay, you buy it and it's yours the next day, and great. But this is real life,
mate.
It's not always like
It's a
that.
drama. It's suspense. It's sadness. It's anticipation. It's
It
everything
is.
a podcast could be. Like we. It's really
It's a
most people just
story, but I would rather have the domain than have the story for
most
the
people
podcast.
most people do like murder mysteries, spy dramas on podcasts. This is about getting the letter M. Like,
The letter
wow,
M,
I
yeah.
think our numbers are going to go up. I'll be
Yeah.
honest with you.
I,
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, you might be right. This is worth
yeah,
it, worth all the pain.
yeah. So,
Anyway, so that's where the .com is at. So for now, it's .co. We'll keep you posted as things keep moving.
yeah. All right. Well, on that sad note, let's move on to something more happy, mate. You've been since we spoke about like last. It's been almost a couple of weeks. We've had the Easter break. You've done some amazing work with the app. Like you've embraced Cursor, and you've taken the next iteration, the visual, the UI and UX, and the functionality of Six Sides and what it looks like completely from MVP into a really interesting. It looks great. Tell us about that.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, so at last episode, I had just installed Cursor, maybe an hour or two before we recorded, and I was using it to just put together some like really basic screens of a mobile app. Like, okay, hey, build me a home screen. It's got a button that says "Get started" on it, etc. Here's a logo. Well, after that, I then spent, because that was that was one of these long weekends that we have in April. I think that was the Easter one. I then spent most of Saturday after we recorded, going through and kind of bringing across some of the functionality from the existing Laracon Australia app. And I got it to a point where we had you could log in with a ticket code, and I really wanted to start proving out the theming, this ability for events to apply their own branding into the app, and have then all of the screens take on their colors, and their eventually maybe we'll get to things like fonts and stuff like that, but trying to make the app feel bespoke once you get past the enter a ticket code area. So yeah, I spent a bunch of time with Cursor, basically going like, hey, here's a working screen that I've got in another app. Can you pull out all of this and get it to work in this new code base? And it did a pretty good job. So I continue to be very impressed with how quickly you can get up and running with something. Like I let me finish off that story. So I kept working away on it. We then had a call with a potential customer on the Monday after that. Like it was on Easter Monday. We had a call with someone overseas, and I was able to show them this work that I'd done, like this ability to log in and the branding, because they were a bit worried about having a six sides app versus an app of their own branding on the App Store. And so I was kind of able to walk them through that, and that was really great because it we weren't then just talking in kind of abstracts. Oh, it's going to be fine. Like it'll be okay. We could actually show them. And a lot of those screens came together, by me just copying over what we had already and then getting Cursor. Hey, can you go change this? It should work like that. Maybe use this button from this UI component library that I've started putting together. And so that way everything kind of looks uniform inside of the app. And it went really well. So so I've been really enjoying that. At that time, I was using a bunch of fake data. So everything that you saw in the app was basically like hard coded in. But since then, so now we're talking, that was a week ago. Since then, I've got it actually hooked up to the real backend for Six Sides. So it's now able to talk to our backend via API. We can pull in all of the attendees and the list of talks and speakers and so on. Like we've got a lot of that stuff done. So there's still a lot more to do, like to get all of the screens copied over basically from the existing app. But we are making really good progress. So it's exciting, and Cursor is doing a fair bit of that. I just yesterday, I started work on like a messaging and like conversations area that I was showing you, and that came together in like 20 minutes. Okay. And that was all Cursor. So basically just having this ability to punch into it. Hey, I want to build out this new like conversations or messages area. These are some of the things it might have. We might want to have like an announcements thread or channel or whatever you want to call it. We'll have to centralize on some of the messaging, but where, okay, that's only for the event organizer to put information into, and everybody should be a part of that group. Things like that. And I just kind of just like stream of conscious chat with it and then see what it outputs. And it did a really good job. So then with only a few tweaks, I got it to a point where I was happy enough to send it to you just to get your thoughts on it. And you came back and said it looked pretty good. So yeah, it's all based on fake data at the moment, but it's getting there. And I expect that probably within the next few weeks. It's not going to happen like in the next few days. It'll take a little longer. But yeah, I'll be able to bring over 90% of the functionality that we have, and we can start adding some of the new things that we're thinking through. So
So you've used it quite a bit now over a longer period of time. So if now, and we've done quite a bit with it. So if you weren't using Cursor as an example, where would you be? Would if you would, it doesn't feel like you'd be at the same spot, but how much harder would it have been to do what you were doing, that what you've achieved now?
Um, yeah, it's totally a fair point. A lot further behind. So where it really, for me, it shines, Cursor specifically, shines in two ways. The first is like grunt work. So giving it a task of, hey, can you take this, this code or this data or whatever, and then make it look like this instead.
Yeah.
And it'll go through and go boop, 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 and it'll fix it all up.
Does it do that? Boop, boop, boop. Yeah.
If you've got your sound on, yeah, I think
I
there's a
do.
setting. um, it goes through and it does that. And again, it's probably like 95% right. For example, I used it to do generate a fake conversation. So clicking into one of those threads, I was like, okay, great. Now can you add some actual messages here of a real conversation that might go back and forth? And it did it.
Yeah.
And it's really good at that sort of stuff, that like grunt work type
Yeah.
of stuff. The other thing that I've found it really useful for is to give me inspiration of what a screen might look like that I don't have already. Like I haven't gone on Dribble and gone, what should a list of threads look like? I can just give it that prompt and say, hey, make me a screen that looks like messages on, Telegram or on the iOS messages app or on Facebook Messenger or whatever. And it can go, yep, okay, cool. And then it does it and it gives you something that's really close. Or you can say, okay, this is cool. Now let's try a totally different style. And it'll just randomly come up with something that probably looks pretty good. It's good for that sort of like inspiration
Yeah.
stuff as well,
Inspo,
I've
mate.
found.
That's a word for 2025. That's a boomer word, is inspiration. Just want to call it out there.
Oh,
Like,
okay. We need a running tally of when each of us are a boomer. Yeah.
I gave you a one word answer in Slack yesterday, and I thought he's going to think that's a boomer word. So,
No, not at all. No, it was fine. I think you said nice, and I was like, yeah, that's cool. I was already on my way out the door, so I wasn't thinking about it at all. But
yeah,
yeah,
sorry, I've interrupted. Yeah.
no, all good. That's basically it. That's my experience with Cursor so far. Is that it's like
Where
very
does it
powerful.
where does it fall down? Where does it do you find that
It,
your expertise needs to jump in and save it?
mm, it gets stuck um, with what's the best way to put it? It's not always smart enough to know, oh, okay, this is what he meant. This is what you meant when you typed this in. So it might go and create, like I was asking it to, okay, come up with some designs for widgets to go on the home screen.
Yeah.
And then it just like made all this stuff and made all these changes. And all I wanted was just like a few little maybe text changes or change the size of this or whatever. So sometimes it goes a bit off the rails and you can just like, there's a button to go reject all and it'll just undo it all.
Yeah.
So I've had to use that only a handful of times. But it's not, it's not the tool for every job. Like I'm finding myself now that I'm getting a bit more into it, I'm starting to have my own mental model of like, oh, okay, this is a good task to get Cursor to do, like the come up with a fake conversation and give me a rough idea of what a screen might look like. But then I am switching back to my other editor, which I normally use. In this case, for the mobile app, that's WebStorm. I'm switching back to WebStorm to then go and make like detailed changes when I know exactly what I want to do,
Okay.
and I'm not just asking the Cursor agent to do everything for me.
Yeah, right. Okay. So it's kind of like, because you get that in normal GPT, where it's kind of like a little, like an adolescent, anyone that has
Yeah.
kids, you go ask a child to do something, and if you don't watch them, you come away and come back. They went, I did that, Dad, but I've also done X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you've just smashed the window, burnt the house down. Like, yeah, that hasn't happened here, but you know what I mean. So you
Fingers
just got to
crossed.
watch it. You just, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Exactly. And it, to its credit, it is good sometimes at like, okay, I'm going to do the minimum. Let me know. And then it'll say, do you want me to go do da da da? And then you can go, yeah, yeah. Okay. Yep. Let's do that.
yeah.
So that's handy when that happens. But yeah, there's been a few times where it's just gone off the rails. I'm like,
Okay.
whoa, hold on,
Yeah.
pal.
Right.
And
Okay.
just turn everything to like reject all and then go do the change myself or update the prompt, and that's
Sure.
okay as well. But
Okay.
it is kind of what I have noticed is like it's quite useful at the end of the day when maybe you're a bit tired and a bit like brain's not as in tune as it was at the start of the day. It's
Yeah.
quite handy then to be able to just talk to your code and
Yeah.
say, okay, I'd like you to do this instead of having to think through, oh, okay, I'm
Yeah.
going to
Right.
have to do that. So it's powerful for those times when you can still get stuff done even when you're not functioning, at 100%.
Sure.
With code, I find that like if I have a really bad sleep, it's almost not worth going to work at all because you're not going to be able to get as like the work that I might do on a day when I feel like crap or I'm really tired or whatever. I might spend a whole day, like 8 hours, on something that I could knock out in like an hour the next day if I
Yeah.
had a really good sleep,
Sure.
or
Sure.
something like that.
Yeah.
It's that type of thing. Like developers, it's really hard to write code when you're not functioning at a pretty high level.
Yeah.
So Cursor is like it's always on, and you could just talk to it. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's been something that I've noticed, and that's why, like yesterday, I was running out the door to go renew my passport. I had to go do the photos and all of that stuff yesterday, and yeah, with like 20 minutes to spare, I was like, I bet I could come up with a messages screen and then send it to Gav, and I was, and there's no way I would have been able to do that just on
Yeah.
my
Okay.
own
Yeah.
in that time frame at the end of the day.
Yeah. And I guess it's just going to keep getting better and better, right? Like everything. Yeah. So, yeah, awesome.
Well, it on that point, there's this new thing which I don't know too much about, so I can't speak about it with any authority at all. But it's called MCP. I think it's Model Context Protocol, something like that. And basically, it's a way where you can plug into these AI agents like Cursor or ChatGPT. I think they're working on it. I'm not too sure, but it's a way where you can connect systems to talk to each other. So you can have it connect to Stripe and say, you just type into Cursor, hey, can you go and add a subscription for Gavin for $30 a month for blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And it can then do that because Stripe has released some sort of API or SDK for the people that are in the know to know. It's a protocol that allows the AI agent to understand, oh, okay, these are all the different things I can do on Stripe and how to interpret me saying, hey, go charge Gavin $30. It then knows how to connect those dots to go and do that.
Right. Okay.
And I was looking at it because it's like, oh, wouldn't that be cool? Only purely for the technology aspect, which is why I haven't done it yet because it's going to be a waste of time. But wouldn't it be cool to be able to plug into ChatGPT or something like that and
Yeah.
say, who's coming to Laracon, Australia?
Yeah.
And then it goes, oh yeah, cool. I'll go get that from Six Sites because it knows how to do that, right?
Okay.
And then, and what are they interested in? And here's my list of interests. Who might I want to chat to, at the conference and things like that. And you can start to do that stuff using this MCP.
Okay.
So yeah, I think we're a long way away from that. But over the weekend, I was kind of Googling on my phone. I was like, what is this and how does it work? And then I wonder if I could start to get something like that happening. And then I had to pull the reins in a bit on myself and be like, we are not ready for this at all. This is stupid. What are you doing? But sometimes you just gotta.
Yeah.
It's exciting to work on new things,
Yep. Yep. Okay. Awesome. Mate, that sounds really good. It's Yeah, like and since then you've given me some screenshots. The last conversation we had, I was hesitant to go do some lead gen because we need some consistent direction, and I honestly think we're there, right? So
Yeah.
um, I did show someone yesterday, and they were really impressed, and they're a professional event management company. So
Awesome.
and Hira Lee, who we talk about all the time, I showed him yesterday too. He thought it was amazing as well. So yeah, it's probably a good segue from that into now we're starting to come up with a lead gen plan for here. So,
Yeah. Lay it
yeah.
on us. What do you got planned?
um, well, lead gen basically. No, um, so, so I guess last week or the week before, I've been trying to figure out what the actual business process is that we have an impact on and trying to figure that out. So, doing all that, which is a specific framework that I follow, I figured out what our ideal customer is, and it's associations that have a vested interest in building or making their community stronger and also subsequently building it through events. So, yeah, I'm going to start reaching out to those and just sharing what we're doing, just seeing if anyone wants to have an interest. So the people I met yesterday just sent through a list of 4 or 5 people she recommends I reach out to
Yeah.
for that specific reason. That's what they're
How
trying to do.
amazing is that?
Yeah.
Like that's your 1 to 5 that you were
Yeah.
that you've been talking about for forever.
Yeah.
If we can have that happen for the actual events themselves, but that would be great. But this is an awesome start,
Yeah.
because this has happened a few times where on these calls that we've been having, oh, you should talk with da da da, or whatever. So yeah, this is awesome
Yeah.
to have someone just instantly give us 5 other people to chat to. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I think it's a bit different. There's different types of referrals. So
Yep.
you could loosely call that a referral,
Sure.
but it's it's a referral. I think it's a really strong referral if you go, hey, speak to Mitch. They're
Yeah.
looking for something now. They said they've
Yeah.
got this problem. They're actively searching. That's a strong referral. It's hey, just speak to Mitch. He's in this industry. It's a pretty loose
Yeah.
referral, but it's better than nothing, right?
Yeah.
So
It's a good sign at least.
yeah, that's right. The sign is it's resonating. So um, we are still optimizing our LinkedIn to accommodate the 6 sides, the app in there, which we haven't quite done yet. We wanted to wait for
Yeah.
that screen to be done, which we're there now. Um, and then I've changed my LinkedIn to incorporate 6 sides as a founder. Have you done that to yours yet?
I don't think so.
Word doc maybe, but anyway, we can sort that out, and then we'll start doing some lead generation into just trying to engage in conversation and get people interested and just see what they say, right? I
Yeah.
think um, there's a few different things I think we need to work on as well. Like one, we're working on the app and what that looks like. Um, I suspect we probably need to look on the website, work on the website a little bit more, which we've got the wording around that. That's just filling that out, just because people are going to go there
Yeah.
and look at us if we reach out. At the moment, it's under construction. So, um,
Yeah.
yeah. And then from
Yeah.
there,
Well, it might be worth just pausing on the mobile app. Like, I'm sure it wouldn't take too long to get. So, what tool are we using for the website? Um,
yeah, yep. So one of the things that I've like what I'm trying to do is try to lighten the load from you a little bit because I can see that like you've got many different things on. And so up until this business, I've deliberately stayed out of design and UI and UX just because as a salesperson, if you get caught up in the future, you'll start selling the future, then people won't buy today. So,
mm,
and that's really, you start talking about, hey, we're going to do this in the app in the next 3 or 4 months. And the people you're selling to goes, oh, right, come back to me in 3 or 4 months. Right.
yeah.
So I've deliberately stayed out of it. And
Okay.
my job has always been to sell what we can do today. Right. Um, but I want to lighten the load, and I think and have some interesting points of view on what we're doing, right? Like us rounding out. I think us rounding out our knowledge or how we see things is actually making everything stronger. So
Yeah.
I've been using Reloom just to structure the some thoughts around the website and use the wording yeah, like the wording, I think the website or the like it's call that marketing really
Yep.
needs to emanate or come from the strategy, which we have the strategy. It doesn't come the other way around. So we've worked on that a little bit, and I've used that to help populate the messaging on the website. So, um,
Reloom, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly. So now it's my job to take what you've done in Reloom and then convert that into something that we can use. Reloom has, you can export for React, which is this like JavaScript framework. It's the preeminent one now on the web. It's how most new JavaScript websites are built, at least. But we're using Vue on the marketing website, and it's different. So I've just got to convert that over, but that's okay. That's like a perfect candidate for a chat GPT or a cursor or something like that to do. So
yeah, okay,
that will be fine. We need you've left quite a few gaps for photos,
yeah,
right? So we need to go through and just find some photos, and I've got a bunch that I can use, but I think we'll probably have to source some, and that's okay. We'll figure that out. But yeah, there's a bit of work to do there. I reckon it's probably only a day or two,
yeah,
um, and so maybe it is worth, if you know you're about to embark on this lead gen, and reaching out to more people. We do need to have our ducks in a row, with the marketing site. So maybe that's worth me trying to tackle this week.
yeah,
I'll just hit pause on the app, and that's okay. Like, it's no problem. I can come back to it once we've got that sorted. So let's try and do that. Are you still wanting to record on Friday this week?
yeah,
Um, so
yeah,
that's only a few days away. So I'll try and have that done for Friday's recording
sure,
then.
yeah. We have to get back on track. So yeah, I think we do.
Yeah, we do. Yeah.
Um, But yeah, so that's where I think I can lighten the load. Like if we give you the framework and you're just doing the messaging is, I think, um, mainly coming from me, which is my role, right? And then we can just add to that. And then I think once we do that, we can put this a link to this podcast up there, and people can get to know us a little more. And if they're invested in us, I think it'll start having an impact here. Um,
Yeah. I
and
look
then
forward to that. That'll be
yeah,
cool
yeah,
to have, like, instantly, if we push out a podcast episode and then our marketing website updates not too long after. That's going to be really cool, I think.
mhm. Yeah, yeah. So that's been good. And again, trying to leverage as much as we can from AI and being consistently using it. And I found that really, really useful. So my plan is now is, and I don't use AI for lead gen messaging. I use it for research and stuff like that, but the language doesn't quite fit for
Yeah.
it. So, um, yeah, I've got a couple of lists that I'm going to build out. I've got a few other things that I'm going to build out as well. Yeah, we'll see how the next couple of weeks go. Well, aim to get us a few conversations. So, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Awesome.
We've got we've
Cool.
got
Well, it's
10,
all.
we've got the 10, still got the 10, the goal of 10, and I've also got the 2032 goal as well that we're working towards, which I've made some, not headway, I've made some effort to bridge that gap too. So, yeah.
It's exciting. How are you feeling about everything? I mean, it's a bit of a softball question. I can
Yeah.
imagine you're excited.
Yeah, we've had a couple of setbacks in sales in this last week. Like the one opportunity we thought was going to come through, they've gone down another path with an app, which is disappointing.
Yeah.
But again, it just happens. The opportunity overseas looks like it's not going to happen, but we've done everything that we can do. But reflecting, we're doing lessons learned on all this stuff, right? So we're always doing lessons learned, and they don't, if we're honest, they're not fitting our ideal target market, which is what we want to hone in on. So,
Yeah.
and that's what we're gonna focus on. I'm going to focus on in the next couple of months is really focusing on that ideal target market. So,
Yeah. It would be nice. Yeah. It is a shame, these few setbacks that we've had. It would be nice to have a product that appeals to a larger market, right? So anyone that's throwing an event. Um, and I think in time we will.
but do you
There's
have?
nothing intrinsically. Hey,
Sorry. Do you know how big that market is? That is massive. Like every
Yeah,
capital city, every city, most time, like there's an event per week all
yeah,
around the world. So I think the hardness, you want it to be hard a little bit because that
yeah,
hard um is your competitive advantage. Well, it separates you from the competition. You need to
yeah,
go through the hardness and the difficulty um to to keep you away from competitors. Competitors who aren't their heart's not in it, they will give up. So
yeah,
you need it to be hard to have that buffer. Um,
yeah,
or you get really, really good at delivering your value proposition, which I think we're not bad at, to be honest.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I don't know, because I was talking to my wife last night and she was talking about the caravan and camping show. She was like, she's getting to learn what we do. And she's like, so Six Sides would be good on that. I was like, no, it's not, because their goal is not to grow the community. The goal is to sell. It's a different thing. And there's
mm,
people who walk into a caravan and camping event, they're not going to set up a profile, right? They have no need
yeah,
to set up a profile. They have no need. Their needs of that kind of conference or that kind of event is going to be different. So
yeah, yeah. That's a great point. We're not going to be the right fit for everyone. I would like in time if we were the right fit for more than just associations. Like it does feel like these two opportunities that now, at least one of them is a definite no. The other one feels like it's probably a no.
yeah,
Um, it would have been great if we were in those, but and we were the right fit for them. But yeah, look, it's early days, and it is what it is.
think, think about Uber Eats, like Uber. Uber just
Mm,
concentrated on car like ride sharing for many years, and then they branched out into something else.
yeah,
I think about we our attention is not 100% in the business, so we just need to have one value proposition or one ideal persona or two, like or
yeah,
one business target, and they're in the hundreds of thousands anyway.
yeah,
Um, but then once we get that, then maybe there'll be a natural replication, which I think that is. I think we have that way to do that. So,
yeah,
and then I think other things will come out of that on the other side in time. But yeah, yeah,
yeah. No, it's it. Well, I'm very excited. And this like next step, we talked last week about okay, what's it going to take for you to feel comfortable to not limit sales opportunities until we're ready. I'm really excited that you are feeling like we're by no means are we ready. The app and the back end and everything, there's a lot of work to do, but we're moving in the right direction. And just, yeah, you coming to me and saying, hey, give me some screenshots. I'm going to go start chatting with some outside people. That's fantastic. I'm really excited. So
yeah.
things are going in the right direction.
And that's why, like, looking at episode 8, our notes on Trello to today, it was like, oh, Jesus, we've done a lot in 8 days or whatever. It's a bit more than 8 days. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's actually, we are progressing pretty quick, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah,
And the Trello list seemed to keep getting bigger. Each week we got more more stuff to talk about. So that's a good sign. It'll be a bit of a bummer if we come in one day and there's only one or two things on there. So
yeah,
we might have to keep like maybe through the week as we think of things as something comes up. Oh, we should add that. So that way we
yeah.
don't have to because we kind of sit down 10 minutes before we start recording and figure out, oh, okay, what are we got to talk about? But it it was quite like it was interesting this morning when we did that of looking at, oh, where were we a week ago? And it feels like forever ago. And
Yeah.
it's over a week now because of um the long weekends. That's how people say it. Total brain fart there. But yeah, we are moving along. So it's exciting. I'm really enjoying it still. So
I
yeah,
guess we have
cool.
to. It'd probably be a sign, objectively speaking, if we looked at this and it was 9 weeks and we're like, we haven't really moved much. Like,
Yeah.
we haven't really done much. We've got nothing to report. We haven't spoken to anyone. That's probably a sign that the business isn't going to be successful, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Every time that you tell me about a conversation that you've had with a prospect or whatever, I'm like, God, I'm so glad that you're on top of that because I know within myself, I would not be, we would be nowhere near where we are right now if I didn't have you doing this. So I've just, it's every single time I'm like, thank God this was the path that we've gone down. So yeah, I'm just really pleased. I'm loving this. It's great.
Mate, it's vice versa. I was at dinner last night, and you sent those screenshots about the chat through, and I was having dinner, and I was with my friend Hayden, who's the person that recommended that we try to build a business that no more than 15 people. Like, and he was really interested in what we're doing. I sat down and had a long conversation with him yesterday, and he's like, "Wow, this is really interesting." But having dinner, and I was like, "Mate, look at this. We're having dinner, and Mitch has done these screenshots. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like that just would not happen." So,
It's cool,
yeah.
right? Like just, it almost feels a bit magical, and it's only through
Oh,
hard work, right?
come on, mate.
No,
People
no,
are gonna.
but
Yeah.
no, but hear me out.
Yeah.
The magical part is like, oh, stuff's just happening without
Yeah.
me having to do it, you know, and you get to experience that as well. Anytime I
Yeah.
get in and if I'm inspired on a weekend and I knock out 4 hours of building out stuff and now the app has 5 new screens or whatever, and it's like, that's just happened without you doing anything.
Yeah.
It's really cool. Like it, yeah. So that's there's a lot of people out there, I think, especially developers, I guess, like, because that's who I know. But like me in the past with other ventures, and things that I built out of just being like, no, I want to fully own this. I can do everything. You know, I'm really capable. Let me tell you, it's such a good feeling when your co-founder does something that you weren't involved with at all, and now your business is that much further along. Like that feels really great. So it
Yeah.
does feel kind of magical.
On the flip side, Mitch, I just don't know how I've worked for founders that aren't technical, and then they rely on a development team.
Yeah.
And I would imagine being so prescriptive. This is what I reckon most people do there is they engage with an agency and they think they're invested as much as what they are, and they give them loose direction. We have loose conversations. We're not very tight. As soon as we
Mm.
try to go very tight, I feel it doesn't work. Right?
Yeah.
We've tried to go tight a couple of like really detailed on the app, and I honestly don't think I think our it doesn't it stifles your creativity,
Yeah.
and um, I don't talk in the language that you need for that to happen. But if we talk the vision and you go, wait, okay, I've got a vision, then I come back and then we can fix it. I think that will probably figure
That
out that's
works.
how it works, right?
Yeah.
But I know other founders that aren't technical, so they go to an agency and they probably try that high level speaking. The agency comes back, they don't care, they're getting paid, they do
Yeah.
something that's completely off. And the amount of time that someone who's not technical would have to have their hands on in the product, go through button by button,
Yeah.
and become detail orientated. No wonder, you really got to be dedicated. And if you've got a young family, like you are giving up time with your family, and I don't want to do that. Like
Yeah.
I want to I'm a dad before anything, a
Yeah.
dad and a husband before anything.
Yeah.
And it's that level of, hey, we're both invested, that I think is great, right? And
It serves us both really well because you're right. It does stifle creativity. We had a call yesterday, to go through some of those widgets on the home screen so we could prep for these
yeah,
screenshots that you wanted to shop around. And yeah, I didn't realize it, but I must have been a little cranky on the call because you messaged me after him when you were like, "Hey, is everything all right?" You seemed a little frustrated, and I was like, and I thought about it, and yeah, maybe I was, and what you've just said makes a lot of sense. That it is, I don't really like being told what to do. I guess it's probably a part of why I've started my own business,
yeah,
and it. I try I know for a fact with all of our projects that we work on for clients, I'm not just like phoning it in, and
yeah,
neither is anyone on my team or that
yep,
works on my behalf. We're not just, oh yeah, okay, I'll just put that there and that'll be fine. Like I do go through and think. I try and put myself in the shoes of the user or the
yeah,
client or whatever, but trying to think through all the different people involved. And I like that I get to do that. Those are my favorite projects where where a client does come to me with just high level. Okay, and then you go and make it happen. And
yeah,
it's not because that client is lazy or doesn't care, but I really like that autonomy and agency that they're giving us to go and come up with a really good solution. Like those are my favorite projects. So
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
you and I sitting down and going through like button by button or whatever
Doesn't work. Yeah,
doesn't, yeah, it
doesn't
hasn't
work.
works. Yeah.
No,
So
and I don't think, I think probably this is actually a really good, interesting conversation. Yeah, like you, I think talking at that high level and going, hey, because I did that, what would on a dashboard be for the different sides? And I got an example and you got some. It's maybe Cursor just will allow you to build that to a degree and
yeah,
then we amend what you've already done opposed to trying to figure out. And then
yeah,
because I don't, because it's interesting when you talk, when we do it and we talk through and I have it, sometimes I have a different perspective or there's a couple of design things. I went, look at it this way, and you're like, oh yeah, right, that actually does look a lot better. And it's just the final 10%, like
yeah,
the additional 10%. Sorry, um,
yeah,
you don't need me for all that other stuff. That's your bread and butter,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's yeah, right.
It's yeah, I think it really complements our skill sets, and I'm very glad you're not like over the top as far as wanting to come up with every single screen and how it should look and all of that, because that really would just take away a bunch of the creativity that I get. And
Yeah,
I enjoy that about the work that I produce. So, yeah, I'm glad that we're yet. I think we're yet to have some like uh,
conflict.
trait that we both really feel super headstrong about.
Yeah.
I'll be
Oh,
very interested to see if and when that comes along, how we deal with it. But
what did I say the other day in the car? I said, Mitch, I feel really strongly, but that episode number hashtag no, it was something.
yeah,
And then I was like, Mitch, I feel really passionate about this. And you're like, okay, we'll change it. Like, and Mel laughed. Mel, she heard it and she thought it was really funny. Yeah.
yeah. It's not so what Gavin's talking about there is with the titles of the podcast episodes. If you go back and look at them now, you will see that they all have like the number as a prefix on it. Okay, this is episode number 9, you know. But before they were just the title, you know, it was just the words. And yeah, you had come to me and said, "Hey, I want to do this. Do you think we should number them?" And I was like, "Oh, but that's if you click on the episode, it already tells you what number it is. Like Apple Podcasts will do that, or Spotify will do that." And you're like, "No, I think this is the move." And then yeah, you pulled out that card on me of like, "This is really important to me." I was like, "Okay, all right. I guess I'll do it then." But then you were like, in your head, the hash tag part, like the hash symbol, was really important, I guess. And to me, I was looking at all the other shows that I look at, and none of them have a hashtag in there.
Yeah.
So I just, yeah. Anyway, so it was a
It's
bit of
funny.
a,
It's funny. Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
a bit of a learning moment. For
Conflict resolution, Mitch. We're brilliant at it.
we talked about it in episode 1, actually. So if you're
Yeah.
curious, we talked to having all these topics in Trello is awesome because I can
Yeah.
just go back and see. So anyway, well, why don't we wrap up there? So sorry for getting the episode out late, but at least you got an episode out today. And you can catch me on LinkedIn, Mitch Dav, and Blue Sky as well. Gavin, where can people find you?
Find me on LinkedIn, Gavin Ty, and yeah, that's it. Yeah,
That'll
I'm
do
on
it, I
Twitter, but I
guess.
don't use Twitter. So yeah,
Yeah, I don't either. I haven't in probably a year or two now. So yes, all right, excellent. Well, we will catch you all in the next episode. All
see you,
right,
mate. Bye.
thanks, mate.